Welcome again. We'll start with NCERT class 7, the first chapter, that is tracing changes through 1,000 years. Now before we begin with, in the class 6 history that we were talking about, we mainly focused on ancient India. The whole volume for the class 7 would focus on medieval India. So our idea would be a kind of transition, how that occurred from the ancient India to the medieval India. So in this chapter we would form a kind of background to help understand the various kingdoms that arrived during the medieval period. Now during the medieval times, there was the art of map making, which is known as cartography, which became prevalent. As a result, there were various maps that were designed. One of the most famous maps were given by Al-Idrisi. He was an Arab geographer. His maps were very precise and considered up to nearly 3 centuries, but one of the interesting facts about his maps were that his maps were upside down. That means Sri Lanka on the top and India on the bottom, if I want to explain in that way. And also his maps were good because there was a smaller section that was depicted on a bigger map. So those were some of the advantages of Al-Idrisi's map. And then another important thing in his maps were there were no imagery or kind of text that were used. Rather, he was trying to portray the real physical geography of the region. After Al-Idrisi came the next French geographer. So you had the French geographers who came up, and one of the most important ones were the Guillaume d'Islay, and he gave the Atlas Novia. This atlas talked about the countries of Europe and later on the newly discovered Americas. So all these maps mentioned some of the regions of India and the Indian subcontinent, and what they tried to do was to help understand the economy and the social life of the region, and therefore it became easier for the invaders to come into our country. So this map making formed the basis for the various invaders to have an exact idea about the region, and once they have an idea, they can plan out the strategies to reach the Indian subcontinent. So for example, the French geographers, the maps that were given during that time, around 1720s, mentioned Kannauj in Uttar Pradesh, and these maps were used by various European navigators and sailors. So all this formed the background for the origin of the medieval history, we could say. Now if we look on to the other side of the picture, the social and the economic changes in the lifestyle were very crucial. Now when we talk about the social life, it was predominantly a kind of forest dwelling that was there, which shifted slowly and gradually to agriculture. Within the agriculture, there was tilling of the land that started. So all these changes occurred with the progress towards the medieval history. Again, if we want to explain India itself, there were different terms used by different people during different times. So you had the medieval India and modern India. Modern India we call India as India. However, during medieval India it was known as Hindustan. Then you have Amir Khusro, who gave the word Hind. So there were various words that were used which were different from the present day India. For example, if we say foreigner today, we mean a person who does not belong to the country India. For us, he would be a foreigner, but during that time, any person outside a given village or outside a given territory would be considered as foreigner. So there were different meanings to different terms during that time, and Minhaj-e-Siraj was one of the major leaders who tried to explain the Prashasti, which we talked about in class 6 history. Prashasti was kind of a bit exaggeration of the real facts. So he tried to explain that during the medieval period, the extent of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and the Delhi Sultanate during that time was from the region of Punjab till Bengal, and you had the land between Ganga and Yamuna that was all covered during his period. So that was a kind of prashastis that were done during that period. Again, how do we get to know about the medieval times? There are various sources through which we get to know about the medieval period. Some of the major sources includes the coins, the medieval coins, the inscriptions during that time, the architecture that we could see. Then are the textual records. Now textual records are something that is inscribed. Now with the changing generations, paper has become cheaper. However, it was a main kind of, mainly it was inscriptions during the medieval period, and manuscripts. Now manuscripts are those handwritten records given by the rulers or the major court people of the ruler during that time. But there was an important thing which is to be understood here is scribe. Now a scribe is a person who is a copyist. That means he copies what is written in the original manuscript. Now when I am reading a text and I am unable to understand certain parts of it, what would happen? I might assume the words in between based on my knowledge or my information. So what would happen was the original text which was there was slowly and gradually getting deformed and deformed. So when there were scribes, they were writing down the manuscripts, they were copying down the manuscripts, but what happened during this period was there were drastic changes in the original manuscripts, and changes occurred to an extent that there was kind of real, we could say, a kind of enormous change in the original manuscript. So one of such famous manuscripts was by Ziauddin Barni, and his manuscripts were written in around 1356. However, they were found in library only in 1971. These copies were lost somewhere in the libraries. So this was something very important. Again, during that time there was no printing press, so all the information that was written was mainly by hands. However, there were archives. Archives were the places where they used to store the big manuscripts that they had written. Now writings were in different fashions. So Nashtakil and Shikaste were the two common writing styles. Nashkatil was a kind of cursive writing which was easier to decipher. However, Shikaste was much more dense and difficult to understand. Now, there are some innovations that took place during that period. As we saw, there were changes in the lifestyle. So, you had the forest lifestyle which changed to agricultural lifestyle and new things coming up. So, what was happening during that time? During that time, you were witnessing sudden changes in the social and the economic life, and those were in the form of Persian wheels which were now used for irrigation. You had spinning wheels which was used for weaving. So after the invention of wheels, the popularization of wheels into different aspects gained importance. Then there were firearms that were used for combat methods, and new crops that were seen, mainly potato, corn, chili, tea and coffee. These were the new crops that were discovered. Amongst the social groups, there were various new social groups that were formed, like Rajputs, Ahirs, Kayast, Ahoms, Marathas. So these were small groups that gained momentum during that period. Now, even if we want to understand the medieval period, we can broadly say there were three phases. First was the Hinduism or the phase of Hindus, then the phase of Muslim dynasty or the Muslim rulers, the Delhi Sultanate, then you had the Tughlaqs, Mughals, all those coming up. Then finally the brief advent of the Britishers in India. So these will be the three major heads under which we would be studying the medieval India. As we talk about, we'll start from the Hinduism. So there were two basic things that originated. First was the concept or the popularization of Hinduism, belief in a kind of supernatural agency known as religion. So the importance of religion popped up. Then you had Bhakti movement that gained momentum during this time. Idol worship, worship of deities became important, and again construction of temples was seen. So that was during the Hindu period. During the Muslims, you had the rulers that were coming up from the Arab region, from the Middle East. They brought in the concept of Quran, and you had Islam that was popularized. So the role of Allah got momentum, and Islam was slowly and gradually spread. So you had the Khiljis, Tughlaqs, Mughals, Delhi Sultanate. So all this was a kind of period of Muslim invasion. Then you had finally the Britishers, the advent of Britishers in India. So these will be the three broad things that we would be studying under the phase of medieval. Again, there were few major things. First, as we said, was the social and the economic change that occurred. So there were small societies that came up after the Mughal, the invasion of Tughlaqs. There was the country was broken down into regional groups. So small regional groups came into predominance. There were peasants that were important. Again, regional societies were formed, so small regions developed up, as we said, and each region had its own society. So these were some of the key characteristics of that time. Now, social differentiation started to begin. Social differentiation occurred by means of jatis. So what happened in the villages was establishment of jati panchayat, and these jatis had their own rules. Each jati was a kind of subcaste, and this was mainly based either on occupation or on the background of the family. And the jati panchayat or the village that time was governed by a chieftain. Now the regional expanse, if we look onto, this was the regional expanse of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq had a vast empire during that time, and during this time there were some of the prashastis, what we say, that were made by Amir Khusro, Siraj, and then other followers of the leader during that time, and they tried to explain or glorify the original extent of the empire. So that was again important. Then you had Ghiyasuddin Balban, who explained the empire existed from Bengal in the east to Ghazni in Afghanistan in the west, and also it included the parts of South India. So you had people of Gauda, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat who ultimately were convinced by the ruler, and they adopted to the ruler. Now after the Mughal decline, there were regional states that were brought up. The region was broken down into regional states. Again, now looking on to the classification of Islam, you had two main sects, one was Sunni and other was Shia. Now Shia were the people who believed in Prophet's son-in-law, who was Ali, and Sunni believed in Khalifa. Now within Sunni you had the school of law, the four school of law, and these were known as madhab. So you had Hanafi, Hanbali, Makil and Shafi. So these were the four schools of law under Sunni, of which Hanafi and Shafi were most important. Now there were kind of minor differences in the way they practiced their religion. So for example, Shafi used to wear socks during the process of during Salah, and the Asr time, the Asr prayer was much earlier as compared to Hanafi. So these were under the Imam, and these were the four different Imams that they followed. Then you had the categorization or the classification under Shia, and under the Shia you had the Tayyibi Bohras, which were important, and then finally you had the Khawarij. These were the basic classification under Islam. So with this we cover the class on the basics of understanding the medieval period. We will start with the more topics on medieval period in the upcoming lectures in history. You can definitely subscribe for more updates in history. Have a good day ahead.